Yo guys, what's up? Kyle here. I don't know if some of you guys have been waiting for my opinions on this or not, but I've been waiting to do this for the last 24 hours. Well, 72 for 48. I'm sorry, last 48 hours. Quick thoughts here, real quick. SummerSlam, I thought it was a solid pay-per-view. There's probably about maybe one or two matches I don't think should have been on that card. But nonetheless, overall, solid pay-per-view. Solid match between Punk and Brock. My God. I'm going to talk about the main event because the main event is going to lead me into like other things to talk about. So, the main event, Daniel Bryan, John Cena, what can I say? Quite possibly match of the year, hands down. I mean, just back and forth. The crowd was into it. I was glad that there was not a lot of distraction, outside interferences. They just put these two guys in the ring and they just let them go. And I was so happy that they did that. Second thing I was shocked at was that he beat John Cena clean. Like, I didn't expect that. I mean, if he didn't make John Cena tap, I didn't think he was going to beat him clean. But Daniel Bryan beat John Cena clean. And that, to me, that means more than I think any other superstar that's ever beaten John Cena. Because he's beaten John Cena clean. I mean, I can't think of the last time anybody beating John Cena 1, 2, 3 clean in the middle of that ring, other than maybe Triple H at Night of Champions back in 2008, 2009. That's probably like the only time I've seen John Cena lose clean. But other than that, I mean, wow, Daniel Bryan shocked the world. He became the new WWE champion. They put the confetti. They had the pyrotechs. I became emotional. As a wrestling fan, I was an emotional wrestling fan that night at SummerSlam. It was just, it was amazing. I mean, I hadn't felt that emotional about a wrestler winning the WWE title since Chris Benoit winning the world title at WrestleMania 20. Like, that's just how emotional I got and was just so proud of Daniel Bryan. Then some music hits. I hear voices in my head. Randy Orton comes out. Randy teases, to cash in, runs away. Triple H shocks everybody. Turns on Daniel Bryan, pedigrees him. Orton gets in the ring, cashes in. 1, 2, 3. And becomes your new WWE champion at SummerSlam. Lot of shock. I mean, head turns. I mean, a lot of people were just shocked. I mean, the double heel turn from both Triple H and Randy Orton just shocked the world. I wanted to do a video immediately after I saw that pay-per-view. But, I wanted to save my full thoughts and conclusions until after what I've seen, what direction it would go in the next night on Raw. After seeing Raw, I'm going to give my my overall thoughts now since the pay-per-view and seeing Raw and where they're kind of going to go. I see this whole thing, this Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton and Triple H going heel. I don't know about you guys, but to me, I thought back to, it reminded me of Mankind versus The Rock at Survivor Series in 1999, where you had The Rock and you had Mankind in a tournament to compete for the vacant WWE Championship. Rock ended up turning heel. They ended up screwing Mankind. Mankind, I think he never tapped out. They kind of replayed the Montreal screw job. And they Rock turned and joined the corporation with Shane McMahon and Vince McMahon, and Mick Foley ended up becoming the sympathetic, baby face that got screwed out of a title. I kind of see this as being the same way, where Randy Orton is that total package like The Rock was back in the late 90s. He's got the look, he's got everything for him. And whereas you got Daniel Bryan, who's like Mankind at that time, that wrestler that doesn't specifically fit the mold, and that they don't, and the guy that the company doesn't see as their poster child, so to speak. I I see a lot of similarities between that. And, you know, just seeing Randy Orton with, you know, Vince and Stephanie and, you know, a freshly healed Triple H. It kind of reminded me, it really reminded me of that. It's kind of like, is the corporation back? You know, is the corporation back in WWE? Which I would kind of like to see. But here's my thing, though. Honestly, you know, I know a lot of people had kind of predicted and expected Randy to cash in on Bryan at SummerSlam, and you know, a lot of people wanted Orton to turn heel. We got it. A lot of people wanted Daniel Bryan to win the WWE Championship and beat Cena clean. We got that. But I'm just still just a little bit on the fence here. I just don't know if using Bryan as a sacrificial lamb to turn Orton heel, I don't know if that was a good thing long term. I'm not trashing the thought or the idea, because I know a lot of people say, well, I know a lot of people are going to blow up and be angry as hell. You know, this isn't burying Daniel Bryan. This is going to make Daniel Bryan a bigger star than he already is. I'll say that opinion maybe later in this video. But my thing is that, okay, I'm trying to just collect my thoughts here because I don't know what to say and how to say it. Daniel Bryan, it's like, sometimes you can have just too much of a good thing. You really can. It's like, you know, if you're making ice cream sundae, you know, you got the bananas, you got your ice cream, you got the strawberry sauce, you got the nuts and the candy, and it's like, okay, this is perfect. But then you have someone that wants to add that extra little cherry on top, and just by you adding that one extra cherry on top can just ruin the whole sundae. And you know, I think I kind of see why they did this, because I mean, if Bryan did win the title and just went forward with it, who else we really would have gone up against? He really has no one, because John Cena's going to be out for a while. Sheamus is gone. Big Show and Mark Henry are all baby faces, and we definitely don't want to see Daniel Bryan facing those two big guys again. CM Punk's a baby face. So who does Bryan really have to face for his WWE title? In a case like this, you know, he can chase a freshly healed Orton for the WWE Championship, and you know, they could do this with like the next 2 or 3 months. I mean, like I said, from that perspective, I can see why they did it, but I just don't know. I think they kind of needed to let Bryan run with the belt for a little bit. I know a lot of people want Orton to turn heel. We got that. I'm glad Orton's heel. That's great. But I just don't know. I think they should let Bryan run with it for at least until Survivor Series and have Orton cash it in there. Because sometimes you can have a lightning in a bottle opportunity, and sometimes you can get a little bit overboard with that lightning in the bottle opportunity. Sometimes by you adding a little bit of extra just to make it just outstanding, sometimes it can fizzle out. I mean, just quickly, because it's like you're doing too much. You know, that's honestly how I personally feel. I don't think Bryan was buried by any means. I don't think he was buried, because looking at the crowd's reaction, he got a huge ovation and pop from the crowd by him being the guy that quote unquote got screwed. He's gonna have the fans backing. Buffman Stuff brought up the point of his concern, and I totally agree, of Triple H. How Triple H is always booked to be, you know, stronger than his opponent. He's always booked, you know, where whoever he's going up against, they're not on his equal, they're not on par with him by any means. And so from that perspective, I could be a little concerned as well of Triple H, a heel Triple H. On top of that, you know, kind of squashing Bryan, or maybe not squashing him, but tearing him down just to and try to rebuild him back up again, which I think would just be frivolous and pointless. So I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, like I said, I'm glad Orton's heel. You know, by Orton being heel too, by the way, I'm not sure how much people are gonna hate Randy Orton. because Randy Orton, to me, he's been a babyface for the last 3 years. People have always wanted him to be heel. Now that we finally got that, I'm not sure if so many people are so excited about it. I'm not too sure if Randy's going to get the heat that they may want him to get as a freshly turned heel. It may take a while, Orton to cheat and do some things. And I do think Orton is going to get some boos, no doubt about it, by him aligning himself with the McMahons. But I think to a certain degree, Randy Orton's going to kind of get, his reaction is going to kind of be split down the middle. He's going to get some boos for those who boo him for, screwing over Bryan and align himself with the McMahons. But then he's also going to get those pops and cheers because there are people who just love Randy as a heel, which he is better as, and they've been wanting him to do it. Now that he's finally heel, it's like, oh my God, yeah. So I think it'd be interesting from Randy's perspective. And to me, it just seems like this whole thing it seems like it's a rebirth for Randy Orton. Randy Orton has kind of been stuck in limbo, in my opinion, over the last few years in WWE. Had been a world champion for a while. His wife had recently filed for divorce. So this seems like a new, fresh turn, a new repackaged Randy Orton, so to speak. And seeing him kind of turn heel and, align himself with McMahon's, Randy Orton kind of reminded me of how he was back in 2007, when he had that first run as the WWE champion and going up against guys like Shawn Michaels and whatnot. That's who Randy Orton kind of reminded me of, seeing him last night on Raw. He reminded me of his old self back in the Age of Orton era when he first won the WWE title from like 2007 to 2008. It really reminded me of that. And if we get that Orton back, my God, I would just absolutely love it. But these are just my quick thoughts and opinions I wanted to get on Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton. I'm just not too sure where this is going to go. I mean, like I said, the ending I thought for SummerSlam I thought was cool. It was great. There's just little things I'm concerned with, and I'm not going to mention in this video. I'm going to reserve and hold back and wait a couple of weeks to see where they go with this. So you guys give me your thoughts in the box below. Comment, subscribe. Peace.